Hello, welcome back to Foxfire Forge and welcome to my first ever long form video. Got no idea what I'm doing, but that hasn't stopped me so far, and at least some of y'all seem to like it, so let's get into it. Potentially jarring jump cuts aside, I wanted to do something a little challenging for my first video that maybe some of y'all have seen, maybe some of you haven't. For this video, we're going to be making a first responder spike, which is a design a buddy of mine sketched out on a napkin like a year ago when I promised I'd make him, and well, now we're going to make it. To do this, I wanted to do a little bit of a challenging alloy. So a few months ago, I saw online someone had made a high carbon billet with nickel lines running through it. Now, a lot of you came to my channel for my Moko Nagane video, and while that was cool, and I really appreciate the support, that's not what I bought the nickel for. What I bought it for was to make one of these. This is 3 layers of 80 CRV2 and 2 layers of nickel. Now, I made this one off camera before YouTube was a thing that I thought I might want to do. But for your viewing entertainment and for my own practice, since these are a little trickier than I thought they were going to be, we're going to make another one today. So, things we're going to need. A little CRV2, a little nickel, measuring tape, and a little bit of love. So, for those of you that don't know, 80 CRV2 is a chrome vanadium alloy, and nickel, well, is just nickel. Now, nickel and chromium do not like to stick to themselves, let alone each other. So let's talk about what we're going to do while I get this marked out for cutting. On my first billet, let me show you guys real quick. It stuck together, but as soon as I started to move it at anything other than orange heat, or yellow heat, excuse me, it started to split. Now, I think we can still save this one, and I'm going to work with it. But for this billet, we're going to use about half of the 80 CRV2 that we used in the first one. So instead of cutting up 2 of these bars, stacking them together in layers of 2, then a layer of nickel, then 2 more layers, then nickel, then 2 more layers, and having a total of, what's that, 1, 2, 3, 4, more forge welds. We're just going to have nickel, 80 CRV2, nickel, 80 CRV2, nickel, 80 CRV2, and we'll see how that goes. Okay, so we've got our billet tacked, stacked, ready to forge weld. Now I can hear some of you asking me, Foxfire, did you get careless just now and tack weld your clamps to your billet just a little bit? And to that, I say to you, what are you, a cop? You got forge welds to do. Mind your business. Okay, so here we are. We've got two, hopefully, forge welded billets that are ready to forge down to knife shape. Now, the original sketch that my buddy made me is on a napkin, and that napkin is now gone. I do have a picture of it on my phone, which I'm currently using to talk to you guys. So I need something to write on. Hold on. Much better. And look at that. We went from filming hot dog style to hamburger style. Alright, now let me show you what I'm talking about. Come with me. This is at least the best that I could approximate with my meager drawing skills of what my buddy had in mind. So we got a straight knife, false edge along the back, good sharp cutting edge, and he specified he wanted it to be a thrusting tip. Now, with this being a pokey knife, I'd like to put a little more finger support here, perhaps a guard. We'll see as we forge it out what the options are. Coming down to this back swept handle for a little maneuverability, and a finger loop, which I personally am not a fan of, but not my knife, not my circus, not my monkeys. Finger loop he shall have. So, let's see what we can do. So one more quick note that I realized as I was kind of getting this planned out is because this is a rescue knife and it's going to be used for prying, vehicle extrications, that kind of thing, it's going to need a thick medial ridge. So if you're looking at the blade down the tip, it's going to have this kind of dagger-like profile. That second billet that we forged out is just not going to have enough meat using the less 80 CRV2. So we'll sideline that, use it for something else. Let me know in the comments. Maybe it'll make a nice boot knife. But we're going to focus on the first billet and hopefully get that thick profile and get it done. take a brief forging pause because I want to talk about kind of the next steps here. As you can see, we're probably 70–80% forged out. I don't want to go too much thinner than this. I do want to draw a little bit more length, but I don't want to go too much thinner in rough forging so we have room to grind and heat treat and then make it pretty. The reason I'm stopping here is that finger loop needs to go on this end. Ordinarily, this would be when I would drift it in. However, because of this nickel 80 CRV2 alloy, it's already kind of stubborn under the hammer. I can already hear some of you yelling at me. Go ahead, give me that engagement in the comments. But I am going to drill the hole for the finger well rather than drift it and then work it out on the anvil. So make me the lightning rod of your hate. I just think for this particular build, an alloy, that's our best bet. So let's get it center punched and we'll take it over to the press. Could this be cutting fluid? Absolutely. Do I have any? I do not. Okay, so check it out. We got our blade rough forged. It's about as thin as I'm comfortable going, just because of how we're gonna have to grind this thing, and we'll open up the finger well with some air tools. Now, we're gonna pop this back in the forge, get it up to an annealing heat, and we're gonna shut it down and let it cool off. Alright, so I know you guys can't see this, but the blade is right up to a good annealing color. So that means we're gonna shut down the forge and pull our blade off the hot spots very gently. There we go. Get out of there. And then we're gonna close the forge up and let that come back down really slowly. What that's going to do is take the stress out of the blade. Think of it kind of like a spa days for your steel. And I'm going to go and pick us up some quench oil. And we're back. Our blade has mostly cooled down, still a little too hot to touch, but we're going to go ahead and lock it in the vise, fire up the compressor, and expand this finger choil out just a little bit. So problem number one, post-forging, you guys can kind of see here, is we got some pretty significant delams when we forged in our finger ring. So rather than trying to forge it out more, we're going to take an air tool, refine that up a little bit, hopefully grind through the delams and have some solid metal, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, so fun and exciting. We have our finger loop, not finger choil, opened up. We got most of the D-lambs out, at least from what I can tell. There are still a few around the ring, so we're going to take this over to the grinder, get a rough grind in, and make sure this is going to be viable, because the last thing we want to do is put an unsafe blade in someone's hands. Grinder montage. Alright guys, so change of plan. The idea was to get this knife quenched and to test etch so you guys could see kind of how the pattern is going to come out with the nickel and the 80 CRV2. It is pouring down rain and I do my quenches outside, so because I want to get this video out to you in a timely manner, get your ideas in the comments, I am going to end it here. Let me know what direction you think this knife should go. This is where we sit right now. It's still very thick, but our welds are solid and we got a lot of room to play with. I am not sold on the finger ring. It's not my style, but if that's what you like, you should have a pretty comfortable grip out of this. So yeah, tune in next week, see what the handle looks like, see what the pattern looks like. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and if you want to see more, be sure to hit subscribe for the next video.